obviously, there are people who are very strongly opinionated about what your role is and what you serve in terms of the political movement. You do make your positions known, but you are still a journalist and you still have to maintain that journalistic integrity. Yeah, I know, foreign concept, but I think that is something that is extremely important, and you try to distinguish yourself in that regard compared to other people. There's obviously been a lot of talk as of late with Jimmy and obviously with Glenn, and we saw that huge thing that went down the other day. How do you kind of see this unfolding? Because it's almost like people don't realize that there are people in movements that all have a role to play, and not everyone is going to play the same role.
Well, first off, something that I think is extremely concerning, and I would say the same thing about viewers who support me, is I really think there's become a bit of worshiping YouTube hosts mentality, or worshiping journalists mentality, where if your preferred YouTube host or journalist is criticized, the default response is you're taking them out of context, or you're a shit lib, or basically that it's like almost like cult-like thinking, where people can't look objectively on what the criticism is of their preferred journalist or host, because they're just it's almost like a militaristic tribalism. Where with Glenn Greenwald, I mean, anytime he's criticized, I've been taken out of context. Jimmy, whenever he's criticized, it's bad faith. That's his favorite phrase. The people doing it, Kyle, bad faith. Everybody who whatever dare challenge him is bad faith, and you see that kind of out of the mouths of their supporters beyond Jimmy and Glenn, just like. It's become this thing where if there's criticism of people's heroes, shall we say, people get very triggered, and people can't really look at it objectively. And I think that's toxic, not just for politics, but just period for discourse. You could like somebody or think they do good work, but you don't have to be like, it's kind of like team blue or team red thinking. Like, it doesn't matter. It's just, I'm on team blue. I'm on team red. I'm going to go down with the ship. I'm always going to defend the Democrats. I'm always going to defend the Republicans. That's what I'm seeing with people on the left and their thinking in terms of YouTube hosts. I'm specifically talking about Jimmy and Glenn, who frankly, I don't even think Glenn ever really called himself a leftist. I don't think he's a leftist. I think to me, I think Glenn is not operating in good faith anymore, unfortunately. I think that he's done some great journalism. He deserves a lot of accolades for that. But, to me, my red flags go up when somebody is always one note, when it's always one note, when you're always defending someone like Tucker Carlson, no matter what. It doesn't matter what the argument is. It doesn't matter what the criticism is. When that's the case, you have to start wondering what is somebody's motives. But broader picture, the reason I did that thread today, we had our members call, which we do once a month, Status Quo last night, which is just on Zoom. Our paying members and I talk for a couple hours. And I got into it with a member who basically was yelling at me because he feels my coverage isn't doing enough to get people to Dem exit or a third party. And that argument, and he was a nice guy. I just don't agree. But that argument essentially is most of the crap I get. Most people, I think it's subconscious. I don't really think they realize that's why they're mad at me. But most of this gruff I get, and some of the criticism of me, I'm a public figure. I'm not perfect, so there's fair criticism. But a lot of the crap I get is basically because I think people have mistaken, and I think Ryan Grimm to a certain degree gets this too, the role of a journalist versus an activist or organizer. So for example, when I was at Standing Rock, not because like activists are bad people, but because they obviously want their goals to happen. So a lot of times they would come up to me and ask me if I could use, at the time, TYT to help them organize an action or help them, put together something. And I always had to politely say no, because that would be unethical. I could clearly be for their cause, which I was, I didn't hide it, but you can't be organizing or directly part of a movement and cover it at the same time. So as I told the person on our call last night, and as I said on this thread today, I think people are kind of confusing my role. My role is not to prop up like Dem enter people or Dem exit people. My role is not to help you build your third party. My role is not to guide people and instruct people. Fuck electoral politics, all direct action. And I think a lot of activists, and not just in Standing Rock, I've seen it elsewhere, because they so passionately care about the issues, to them, they don't get it. Like, well, why can't you? Why can't you only cover third parties? Or why can't you say down with the Democratic Party? Or why can't you say hashtag fraud squad? So that's what I was trying to get at, because it becomes frustrating when you're basically being held to the standards of a YouTube shock jock, when that's not my role. My role is I cover movements. I cover the good, the bad, the ugly. I cover elections. I cover labor. I cover strikes. I cover union drives. I cover environmental genocide. I've covered homelessness. I've covered a lot of things, but I've been very careful. Like I've never directly told people vote for Biden or vote for Hillary or don't vote for them. Even though I was covering Nina's race, and I said if I were there, I would personally vote for her. I've never instructed people what to do. So that whole thread was basically saying, I understand people's righteous anger at the Democratic Party. If you don't want to vote for Democrats, have at it. I mean, I'm not going to lose sleep over that, but I'm never going to directly work to prop up your preferred political strategy. That's not my role. It's not my role to say burn down the Democratic Party. It's not my role to say, let's focus only on third parties. It's my role to just cover stuff as I see fit. I would love to cover a lot more third party campaigns and this and that, but you only have so many resources, and I'm not going to go cover a bum duck third party candidate somewhere that has no chance of winning. So that's basically what that thread was about, because it's really, I'm a public figure. People don't, if they don't want to watch journalists who don't share their worldview, that's fine.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.